If you are that investor that is relying on a regulator to fix the decisions of the management team that is involved in the company that you have actually invested in, I can assure you 101% you will get served 100% of the time. Hi everyone, it's yet another episode on the Boardroom series. Obu Joseph is my name once more, and I'm your boardroom plug, your advisory board plug for your companies. I know that for those of us in the crypto space, you might have been looking at the news from FTX in the United States. Of course, it's a global crypto trading platform whose CEO, Sam Friedman, has been in the news for a lot of wrong reasons, and this is what actually this channel has actually been talking about through videos on the Boardroom series, where CEOs have to constantly keep engaging with their advisory board, their non-executive directors who actually have the experience within the industry and who have a duty to deploy that experience to the growth and stability of that company. Imagine having Bitcoins or having crypto assets and all of a sudden you wake up and a company is about to go bankrupt because of certain wrong decisions, or also because of the model that the company actually runs. You now stand the risk of being the person, because at the end of the day, in a lot of all these transactions, look at investment companies that go down the drain, look at real estate companies that go down the drain all over the world. Is the little guy that has his whole punch in the game that gets burnt at the end of the day. He gets burnt at the end of the day because you put your money into something that you do not fully understand. You don't know when to put in, you don't know when to pull out, you don't know when to go in tough and hard and big up, you don't know when to pull out slowly, you don't understand the dynamics of the game. So those who have more like an understanding of when to pull out, they pull out and you get burnt at the end of the day. So this is not a video about talking about how people get served, within the crypto space. But I just want to highlight certain things that are really important. Like we all know, in Nigeria, we've had, the whole crypto thing, how government is trying to see how they can regulate the space, or better yet, how government is investing to see how they can actually understand the space before they can regulate it. Because regulation always comes, miles ahead of, once the damage is done, then people start shouting regulation. Why don't we have a system where people can understand the problems before the problem now gets to the attention of the regulators? That is actually why you need to plug in your investment company, your real estate company, your fintech company. If you are that company that is involved in using people's money or people's data to make money, then you need to ensure that you have a system in place, a system that protects all stakeholders that the company is actually dealing with. So I say all the time that the regulators are always the last people to know that something is actually wrong in a company. So you cannot put all your investment into any company and you are waiting on the regulators to have your back. It doesn't actually work that way. Regulators are the last people. If anything is about to go wrong in any company, the last person to get that information is actually the regulator. Look at, I don't want to mention some names, but there have been some top companies, that there was actually one that I used to follow on Instagram, a very lovely, beautiful lady and her husband, I think. They actually ran the platform, they were to die for. Like, the optics were really enormously beautiful and great. Everything, the English, the Queen's English, the manner in front of the camera, the language of persuasion, you understand? And at the end of the day, these guys had to plummet out of the country. I think they're on the Interpol list anyway. Interpol is actually looking for them. They got another citizenship and boom, they were out of radar, not to be found anywhere. Where did the regulator actually come in at the end of the day? After the damage, the colossal damage had actually taken place and had been done. So if you are that investor that is relying on a regulator to fix the decisions of the management team that is involved in the company that you have actually invested in, I can assure you 101% you will get served 100% of the time. You are going to lose out 100% of the time. Once you're planning on investing in a company, you want to put your money where your heart is. One thing that you must actually find out is, one, does this company have an advisory board system? Does this company understand what corporate governance is actually about? Because I tell you the truth, the advisory board of companies are the first to begin to notice that a company is on a failure path. And that advantage is for the stakeholders of the company, it's for the clients of the company, it's for the communities where that company is actually operating in, it's for those who have invested their time, their sweat, their blood in the companies that I'm actually talking about. So where you are now thinking of, okay, we are waiting on the regulators. No, once the regulators come into any system, it's already a dead game. It's already a dead game. Once regulators show up, once other, maybe people like maybe the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, once they show up, once ICPC is showing up, know that the game is already over. Those who want to cash out have already long cashed out from a terrible system that they have actually created to enrich themselves, or maybe not even enriching themselves. Better yet, due to bad management practices, a lot of things go down in companies and people are on a losing streak. So do not be that investor, do not be that money bag. You have funds for a purpose. You have funds for you to be able to think intelligently and think wisely. So 2 tips I'm going to be giving to you. 1, before you hedge all your trust on any company, beyond what regulatory system is actually about, try to find out who are the directors of this company. What is their qualification? Beyond the optics, beyond the beautiful Instagram account, beautiful Facebook, beautiful PR and all of that. Who are the directors? What is their qualification? Number 2, what you should also find out is, does this company have an advisory board system? Are they in love with corporate governance? Or is just a company where, the MD wakes up in the morning and he's making decisions on a spiral? Like, he's shooting out decisions here and there. He's emotionally on a high. He's just firing on all cylinders. And at the end of the day, he's making wrong decisions over and over again, not bearing in mind that he's actually thriving on the back of those who have actually invested their reputation, invested their funds, invested their family's funds, into that particular business. So it's actually very key. It's very important that before you hedge your trust on any company, find out who are the directors of this company. Number 2, what are their qualifications? Number 3, do they have an advisory board system? It's very important. It will save you a lot of headache in the future. Till I come your way on the next video, I hope to do this often, and please do subscribe to this channel. You might have a small company and you are thinking, oh, advisory board is a big name. No, you can actually just go on LinkedIn, look for people that might actually want to render that particular service to your company for free. There are persons who would not mind advising your company on the trajectory that the company is actually going on at 0 cost. I can tell you how to do that. And I'll see you on the next video.